and welcome to the third episode in my C# and Unity series where I'm showing you the fundamentals of the Unity game engine and the C# programming language. In this episode, I'm just going to gloss over Unity's game object and component system. So let's just get right into that. So first off, what is a game object? Well, think of like a game object as just this thing in Unity that can hold different items. It can also own other objects. So let me show you what that exactly means. So in my hierarchy here, you see there is main camera and a light. We're just not going to deal with that just yet. I'm going to right click and go to 3D object, and I'm going to insert a cube. Now I'm just going to change this around for ease of use, and you'll see that we have in the scene view, we have this cube with, like, you can move it, whatever. Now this is a game object, and you see it is a thing in Unity that can have a mesh and a position and a rotation and a scale and a box collider, which just means that it has a collision. Now what is a component on this object? Well, every one of these things in the inspector is what we call a component. Now, we have a transform component, which contains data like your position, rotation, scale, all that stuff. We also have a component called a mesh filter. That is just something that a object has if you want it to have a mesh. We have a component called mesh renderer. Now, a mesh renderer uses a mesh filter to know what mesh to render to, and it has all these scary looking options that I will explain in the future, but this is just the mesh render component. And then finally we have the box collider component, which is just a component that contains data and stuff to deal with collisions. So basically what a game object is it's just a thing that holds data and can interact in the Unity world, while components are things that hold data, can modify data, and all that stuff. So it's just a thing that holds the data and things that do the actions. There's also other components, like you have rigid body that basically puts physics on this object. So if I click this play button in the top middle of my screen, which is the play button for Unity, you'll see that this object now has physics enabled and falls in the world. Now that is because the rigid body component holds data and hooks into the Unity physics engine that applies physics on it. If we get rid of this component, if we remove that component, all that data and functionality is removed from this game object. So now you see that there's absolutely no physics going on. That's because the rigid body was the component adding that functionality to this object. So I know this was a quick video, but it's a very important video because, understanding Unity objects and components and the relationship between them is very important. Just as a basic summary, objects hold data and the components do the actual functionality, like, transform, positioning. A mesh render renders a mesh. A box collider, it does collision, and a rigid body, it does physics. So components and game objects are core to Unity, and I hope this video helped. If you have any questions about game objects or components, make sure to leave them in the comments. If you want further help, I also have a link to my Discord server in the description. But other than that, that's all for this video. I'll see you guys next time.